They thought he was invisible. Every night after the last employee left and the office lights dimmed to a hush, he showed up. In faded overalls and worn sneakers, pushing a mop bucket across marble floors more expensive than anything he'd ever owned. No one really noticed him, just the janitor with two little girls in matching hoodies and ponytails, giggling softly as they followed him through the empty corporate hallways. But what happened that night changed everything. Before we dive into this heartwarming and inspiring true story, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more powerful stories that remind us how kindness, resilience, and love can move the hardest hearts. So let's go back to the beginning. Ethan Kim had never imagined his life like this. Once a high school science teacher with dreams of building a robotics lab for underprivileged kids, he had it all: a wife who loved him, a modest home, and twin daughters who brought color to his world. But life doesn't ask for permission to shatter you. His wife, Mi Young, passed suddenly after complications from a routine surgery. The grief was a tidal wave, crashing, unrelenting. Ethan's world stopped. The hospital bills drained their savings. His teaching contract wasn't renewed. And just like that, the man who once taught future engineers was mopping floors to put food on the table. He didn't complain. Not once. Every evening, he'd wrap up dinner, help the girls with their homework, and then bring them with him to work. He couldn't afford a babysitter, and even if he could, he didn't trust anyone else with them. At first, he was scared, afraid someone would report him for bringing kids into a corporate office at night. But nobody cared. Nobody looked. The higher-ups never saw the night shift. The guards turned blind eyes. As long as the floors gleamed and the bathroom sparkled, Ethan was just background noise. Except to his daughters. To Hannah and Yuna, their father was a superhero. They followed him like shadows, carrying tiny rags, pretending to help. Sometimes they danced in the reflections of the hallway lights. Sometimes they read Korean storybooks aloud in their tiny, joyful voices, a habit they picked up to feel closer to their mother. They laughed in that echoing building more than anyone had in years. And that laughter, it carried. One night, it carried into the ears of someone no one expected to be there, the CEO. Julian Graves, the reclusive billionaire behind Graven Technologies, had been working late in his glass-walled office, alone, as always. Cold. Calculated. Rumor had it he hadn't smiled in years, not since the death of his own family in a plane crash. The staff feared him. His assistants trembled in meetings. And he never, ever came down to the janitor level. Until that night. The elevator dinged softly just as Ethan was wringing out his mop. He froze, eyes wide. The girls stood at attention like tiny soldiers, instinctively sensing something important. The man who stepped out didn't look like a titan of industry. He looked tired. Haunted. But the moment his eyes landed on the girls, something shifted. "Why are they here?" Julian asked, voice clipped. Ethan straightened his back, bracing himself. "I can't afford childcare," he said plainly. "They stay with me. They don't touch anything. We clean, then we go." Julian's eyes flicked between him and the twins. The silence stretched. Then Hannah, brave, bold little Hannah, took a step forward and said, in perfect Korean, "Hello, mister. Our dad works very hard. He's our hero." It was quiet for a long moment. Then Julian, this man carved from ice, did something no one had seen in years. He cried. Not loud. Not messy. But his eyes glistened as he looked at them, and Ethan saw in that moment, this man had once known love like this too. Family. Children. Laughter in hallways. "I lost my daughter," Julian whispered. She spoke Korean too. Her mother was from Busan. The twins stared, unsure what to say. And then Yuna, the gentler one, walked to him and hugged his leg. No fear. No hesitation. Just love. From that night on, everything changed. Julian didn't say much. He just asked Ethan to stop mopping for a moment and follow him. They walked silently through the halls, up to the executive floor. Into his office. He handed Ethan a business card and said, "You're not meant to mop floors. You're meant to teach. Build. Inspire." Come back tomorrow. We'll talk about a position in our education innovation wing. And bring the girls. Ethan stood frozen. He didn't believe it at first. But the next day, when he arrived with Hannah and Yuna, a whole team was waiting: HR, childcare specialists, even a counselor. Julian had already arranged everything. Within a month, Ethan was leading Graven Tech's new initiative for underprivileged youth, building STEM programs in schools that had never seen a robot, a coding class, or even a science lab. The twins. They got a scholarship for the best international school in the city. As for Julian, he became a silent but present figure in their lives. He'd often sit in the back of Ethan's weekend workshops, listening to the